women at the end of it, not artificial intelligence. Way to go, Budapest. You make it so you make it so sound so indecent when you put it like that. Bingo! Oh, is that so, passenger sir? I gave a small, polite chuckle out of respect, though it's not as if I was particularly obliged to show such social courtesy to a machine. Well, no offense, the machine, the AI, Budapest kinda threw you into a loop there. It was just peculiar, a personal habit of mine, which I had obtained from spending so much time in transit. If you don't mind me asking, ... What will you be doing once we arrive at Alpha Centauri? It'd be better to be something worthwhile after such a long trip. Is this how you screen for potential troublemakers? I wasn't planning anything shady now. I am really liking this, and I was told that it was going to be sad. If it's going to be sad, why am I laughing? Is it going to take a turn for the worse at some point? Oh, I don't even know how long I've been reading this. The navigator lets out a short, pre-programmed giggle. Ha ha ha! Goodness no, just curious is all. I asked the same question of all my passengers. Just curious? The navigator is just curious? I gets me thinking. Something of a tradition I have. A tradition it is, ... No kidding. I shrugged. Sightseeing mostly. Maybe I'd try my luck down at ACB2. Ah, that planet. The planet. It must be unbearably hot at this point in its orbit. Oh, it's unbearably hot all the time. It's like walking into the core of a smelting plant. True, true. Any business down there? Ah, corporate espionage, is it now? Now, sir, I assure you, none of these questions were pre-programmed. I'm going to be piloting shuttles for time eternal. If you haven't noticed, you could afford me a little curiosity about my passengers. It's mostly morbid curiosity, maybe. That's pulling me there. Maybe I'll scope out some mining prospects in the area. They say they found platinum down there. I could use it. Afford a square meal. More likely I'll end up digging up some nickel and iron. But that'd be fine with me. Shoot for the moon and you'll land among the stars or something like that. All that for a meal? Pardon me for saying so, passenger sir, but that ... sounds a little reckless. Might be. Me, I'm not bothered by it. It's hard to scrap up credits in this economy. Besides, it's bound to be a pretty view. ... And who knows? Maybe some other lunatics had the same idea I did. Sounds like a wonderful adventure. You're quite the character, sir. I'll be rooting for you to hit it big. Thank you kindly for the well wishes. Coming from an AI, I didn't think much of it. ... But it was nice to hear aloud all the same. You're quite welcome. Now, we'll be serving a complimentary drink and beverage momentarily. ... Ah, that's great. I had to skip breakfast. The navigator smiled. After the meal, I went ahead and took a short nap. Snuggled into the cabin chair, I slept lightly, but well. I didn't dream of anything, but I didn't want to either. After some time asleep, however, I was wakened with a start. "Sir! Pastor, sir, please come to the cockpit." I bolt upright, startled. Something must have gone wrong. Something seems to have, gone wrong. Scales. I took that as my cue to rush over. As I stepped into the cockpit, warning lights and alerts began to blare, bathing the cockpit in a frantic kaleidoscope of colors the navigator had set to work. Dot, dot, dot. Oh, how interesting. What is it? Did something happen? Not to cause you any alarm, Pastor, sir, but there's been an incident. The shuttle's short-range radar has detected an incoming debris storm. That doesn't sound good. Actually, in fact, that's a very bad thing, isn't it? Well, I wouldn't say very bad, but you might want to ... Now, like I said, there's no cause for alarm or anything. She's worried. Of course not. She's definitely worried. But you might want to brace for impact. This is where it turns for the worse, isn't it? Isn't it? Better save. A debris storm? I hurried back to my seat in the cabin to look out the window, squinting my eyes to see through the blackness of space. Oh, the music. I could make out a few sparkling lights. The reflections? Yeah, reflections. The ship itself had bright, powerful lights attached to its wings, tail, and under the cockpit. Every time they flashed, I got a peek at some sort of approaching mass. Oh no. Oh no. Meteoroids. Hundreds, maybe thousands of meteoroids, drifting aimlessly through space, clustered together in such a school. Relentless, soaring landslide of steel on a direct collision course with the shuttle. ... My heart sank deep down in my stomach. Actually, no, it went past that. Plummeted straight down to my bowels. No cause for alarm, alright? I've got this under control. No cause for alarm. No cause for alarm. I repeated those words to myself more incredulously each time. I took a deep breath, steeling myself for what I feared was to come. Still as a statue, I closed my eyes, content not to watch it go down. ... Oh, that's not good. Tap, tap, tap. I could hear the sounds of particles impacting the hull, the constant whine of a ringing metal. They started sparse, spread out. Tap, 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 tap. Only a few minutes ago, the cabin had been eerily silent, and now a constant stream of sound filled it, like we'd flown into the mist of a typhoon. I could imagine the cold wind hitting my face and the fury of old Earth. I think it was a better coping mechanism. I'd rather be lost in a thunderstorm on a terrestrial surface than weathering a debris storm in a dingy old shuttle in one of the most remote parts of the charted space. I winced, popping an eye open. A heavier rock pounded against the hull, and the ship lurched to one side. It didn't seem like we'd sustained any serious damage yet, so I sat there, clenching my legs, wringing my hands in desperation, hoping the storm would soon pass. Wham! Wham! Like fists driven by fury and rage, the meteors continued to pound against the shuttle. With each impact, the rocks dug into the hull, denting it and pushing against the cabin walls. The flooring pressed against my legs as a large divot was suddenly formed. That was too close for comfort. Another larger meteoroid ricocheted off the window I was seated next to. I flinched and writhed in my seat. Look, I've been through worse than this before, alright? Way worse than this. I'm a veteran of the trade. An unsung hero in the artificial intelligence community, you know. This is nothing that I can't handle, so... ... Oh. ... That's bad. They came into sight. I saw enormous meteoroids, the heavy hitters of the storm, hurling themselves directly into our path. Even the awe-inspiring holy light of the distant colors cowered in the shadow of the meteoroids. One was on a due course for the cabin. It was a monstrous gray, jagged mass that glistened devilishly, its iron deposits reflecting the flashing emergency lights of our ship. It was going to impact, and it was going to impact very soon. I swallowed hard and lowered my hands into my harness. My hands shook thunderously. I couldn't get at the switches and the belts. I tugged at the straps, but they only seemed to tighten. Come on, ... Come on! Blank, damn it. I'm not reading that. Before all the strength had been drained from my arms, the belts miraculously disengaged. Passenger sir, you need to get into the cockpit. It's the most isolated part of the ship, and we can seal it if the worst comes to worst. ... Oh dear. You need to get here now. I exhaled deeply and darted towards the cockpit. Crash! Shrapnel and sparks flew everywhere, lighting up the world in a blaze of yellow and orange. The entire cabin swayed and shook, and the horrendous sound of metal sheets rendering apart filled my ears. Wow. Only what seems like maybe 45 minutes into his flight, it all went to hell. I slapped into the cockpit door, opened it, let myself fall through, and then kicked it shut. Scrambling over to the console, I sealed the cockpit door and engaged all the airlocks. My breathing was frantic, my vision was blurred. I was in a panic. When I saw the pale figure of the navigator scrolling through monitors and screens and spreadsheets, it comforted me at least a little bit. That was especially bad. Damage report? The hull has been breached. You're lucky you got here in time, sir. I took some time to settle in, trying to find my footing in the cockpit. As the shuttle rumbled in the midst of the storm, I paused. I felt an odd sensation where my hand was resting on the windshield. I drifted my eyes down to take a look. A hairline fracture along the window pane. My finger ran along the thin, narrow line formed in the ultra-hardened glass. The splintered patterns it formed were remarkable, but... ... I was paralyzed with terror. Suddenly another lurch forwards, another large collision. Ah, damn it! Please, sir, take the co-pilot seat and strap in. It's dangerous to remain standing at this time. Receptive to the machine's goading, I staggered to my feet, watching my footing in a lopsided cockpit. Eventually, I sank into the plushy co-pilot's seat to the navigator's right. I glanced over to her. Hey, navigator, quick question. How in the hell did you not notice that mess of meteoroid bullshit heading our way? That was rude. They didn't show up on the short-range radar. Their iron compound deposits absorbed by the signals. Is what I'm thinking. The storm came in too fast to be traced. I paused. So there was nothing we could have done about it. The storm had just been drifting through space and had just decided to ravage us in its wake. What the hell kind of freak accident? Are you alright, Pastor, sir? Are you hurt? That was a nasty beating you took. The program looked so concerned for me. Still rubbing my forehead, I waved his concern off, groaning to myself. Yeah, I ought to be fine, ... but nothing I can't handle. What are we going to do now? Well, our vessel sustained critical damage and we've been knocked considerably off course. Built-in navigational and communication systems are completely offline. I haven't been able to find a way to repair them. But for now, we need to do something about the damage. Right now, the rest of the ship is nothing but sheared, hulking mass, adding unnecessary weight. Preparations for jettisoning the cockpit are underway. We should be far removed from the storm in due time. Understood. Proceed as you should, navigator. ... Wait, what? Jettisoning the cockpit? This transit shuttle is of an older model, sir, previously designed for 2 human pilots. In the case of an emergency, the shipmaker installed a simple mechanism to eject the cockpit, which contains a lavatory and necessary supplies for emergency survival. It was essentially a primitive form of an escape pod, except roomier and less reliable. Although I believe the jettison system of this craft is still in working order, I do maintain it after all. What? Well, when I thought about it, it wasn't such a strange thing to pass the phrase out, now that pilots were almost always navigators. Even then, I was glad it wasn't phased out entirely. The age of the ship may very well have been what saved me in that moment. Okay, well, that sounds doable. When are we going to be performing that jettison exactly? ... Hey, don't climb up on me now, ... It's not a sure thing, but I'll have to inspect our subsystems to see if it's still in working order. I thought you said it was all still in working order. It is! Yes, but quite unsure. Probably. That machine lied to me. I'll be right back.